Hi, all, and welcome to Monday night's All Metal Mode podcast with Gypsy, myself, Amanda Digger-DeGaz, and special guest, Stef Tanguay. Before we get started with the show, April's Dirt Digest magazine is available at dirtdigestmagazine.com. Go to dirtdigestmagazine.com and click on current issue to check out this monthly treasure hunting and metal detecting online magazine. So that's really actually all I have as starting the show. So can I kick it over to Gypsy? How are you?
I'm doing as best I can. Can be with this lockdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, just taking it one day at a time, and I've been cleaning some of my finds. Today I cleaned some stuff that I found in the creek bed from the old dump, and I found a silver coin that I didn't know I had, a silver rosy dime.
Ooh.
And what I think is a buffalo nickel. It's in pretty bad shape, but I think it's looking like it's going to be a buffalo nickel. So that was a nice little surprise, those two little things in there.
Is that the creek near your house, or is that down with Garen?
No, yeah, down with Garen, Digging for Life, when I went with them. And that was actually for the first time I went. I hadn't cleaned up all of those finds yet, and said, well, I'm not sure what these are. I'm just going to throw them in the tumbler, and had a nice surprise. That's always nice.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, other than that, cleaning finds, trying to make a room in the garage for a little relic area. So that way I don't have the tumbler going in the house, because you know how noisy that can be.
Yep.
And and one announcement, tomorrow morning it'll be 8:30, I think, my time. Central will be 9:30 Eastern. It'll be Coffee with Kellyco. I'll be their guest on Coffee with Kellyco. So if y'all want to join me in the morning, go to Facebook, and we're going to do a live. Just do a search for Kellyco and join us. It'll be lots of fun. So,
That's awesome. Very cool.
I know you'll be working from home in the morning, but
yeah,
I'll be thinking about you.
That's my Tuesday morning meeting, so I will. I'll try to jump on after during break or something, and see if you're still chatting.
Well, I hope you can make it. Hopefully, your meeting won't last too long.
Seems like meetings lately, though, are like 10 times longer than they were before. So, really,
everyone's like, "What do we do? What do we do?"
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's bring in our special guest, Stef. How are you? Long time no speak.
I know. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Oh, I see Nicola actually joined up in the chat. Hi, Nick. She's supposed to be working. So, yeah, I've been okay. A little bit bored because I've pretty much just been hitting the woods that's fairly close to my house, which I've hunted the snot out of already. So, but, you know, as I said in my video this week, I don't believe in door knocking right now. It's a terrible idea. So I've just been a little limited, but still getting out there as much as I can, because there's nothing better than fresh air right now, since everybody is just cooped up and freaked out, and, you know, you forget about it when you're out in the woods. So, been just doing that and plugging away and digging. I've been using the Simplex recently, new machine added to the arsenal, and I've been really enjoying that. So, been going back to a lot of my hammered spots and seeing if I can pull some things out, which I actually do.
Nice.
I've been having fun with my new toy.
That's cool.
You know, I can't get enough of them. Obviously, that's like my third big girl machine in the last couple of years. So, Can't have just one. That's me anyway. So, yeah.
So for any of our new listeners that
That's
might
cool.
not have heard you.
It's been a while since we've had you on, Steph. I know that Mike and I had you on. I can't remember. Were you on with both Amanda and I since Amanda joined us?
No, it was you and Mike. It was you and Mike, and we had like a hysterical laughing fit right before we went live, which was a lot of fun because I was just shaking during. I was just like shaking during the intro. I even remember what the joke was, and we can't say it on here, but I was just shaking, laughing, trying not to.
We did have some good laughs.
Yeah, we were on the phone for like a half an hour before we started or something. It felt that way anyway. I don't know if it really was, but it's like if you get Mike going long enough, he'll laugh everyone up, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
It's been at least like 6 months, I think. I haven't been on in a while.
Yeah.
Done a couple of podcasts.
It's been a while.
I did Metal Detecting Nation, that one that Joel Green runs on YouTube. I did that a few weeks ago, and then before that I did the XP podcast. And I feel like I did another one too, but I can't remember. They start to blend together when you do them often enough. But I love doing these.
Right. It's a lot of fun, and I knew it had been a while. I'd mentioned I was messaging with Amanda and I last night, and we're like, oh, who can we get last minute? And she was suggesting a few, and I said, oh, we hadn't had Steph on in a while. And so she was like, messaged me this morning, hey, I'm going to see if I can get her on. So it's kind of a last minute thing. Yeah. So we appreciate you being here with us, and it's always great for our guests that don't know you. Steph, go ahead and tell us where you're from, where you live, and how long you've been metal detecting. Get us going here.
Yeah, well, I live in Connecticut, and I've been hunting mostly Connecticut and Central Mass for about 3 years now. The last year, I was up with my friend Lou in Central Massachusetts a lot, but primarily I dig in Connecticut where I live. And, it's been 3 years, and just been cruising on along, finding a lot of colonial early American stuff. So a great part of the country for that, that's for sure. But, I'm more into the relics than the coins, I guess. If I had to choose one over the other, which is good, because that's what I tend to find out where I'm at right now. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing, and I'm totally addicted to it, as everybody knows. Or most people know. But,
right, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about, I know for our guests that don't know you as well as Amanda and I know you, since we had the pleasure of getting to finally meet you in person at Pound the Ground this last year. But tell us kind of how you got started and what metal detector you started with, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I got started when I first tripped across Aqua Chicker's channel, our friend Bo. We all love him. I started watching video after video, and I was really amazed at how this guy could, literally pick up any kind of fragment of what looks like junk in the river and identify it. I think the first video I watched was when he found his silver cache, which has probably millions of views now. I haven't watched it in a while. I'll watch it maybe once a year for inspiration. That stuff still exists, but I haven't watched it in a while. But I'm sure it's up to millions now. And he's a great guy. But so I started watching him, and then I kind of branched out to other channels. And I was really one of those weirdos in the background, just watching YouTube channels for about 6 or 7 years before I bought a machine. I finally bought one in 2016, which was an Ace 250, a Garrett Ace 250. And shortly after upgraded to an Ace 400, and that's when I really started to get into it, more like July of 2017. So it's been about 3 years now. I have a Garrett AT Max as well, and then my Equinox and my Simplex, because I keep collecting them. But
that's what we do
yeah.
as detectorists.
That's what you can't have just one. You really can't have just
right.
Who was it? Was it you the other day who posted like a whole bunch of your machines in your relic?
Yeah. I did a video.
I think everyone's doing that right now. They're like, hey, I'm organizing my relic room. Look at all of my machines. But yeah, I'm surprised I only have 5, to be honest. Like I said, like 3 are like big girl machines. I love the Ace machines, but they're great for beginners and maybe not so much for more advanced. But I love to keep my Ace 400 for my permission owners because that's such an easy turn on and go machine, and it's a really good one at that. So, if I do have a permission owner that wants to beep along with me, which I have had one before, I just whip that out, and it takes nothing to learn it. So. Yeah, I brought one to a property in September of 2018. I was hunting a lot, and the permission owner really, really wanted to learn how to metal detect, and he didn't have a metal detector, so I brought the Ace 400, and in 10 minutes he found a dandy button, so he was pretty stoked about that. He found it, and then he's like, what do I do with it now? Because he didn't know how to display it or anything. He's like, what do I do with it now? It's kind of funny.
Let me show you.
I'm like, I got so many things so many things you could do with that. I love making displays and stuff. And I say that, but the cobbler's son wears no shoes because if Nick is still listening, she'll be chuckling away at work. But I have been really bad about getting to my relic room, which was moved to our in-law apartment because I was busting at the seams, and we rearranged the house a little bit.
You sound like mine.
It's horrible. There's paper plates everywhere, for each individual hunt.
Oh, yeah.
It makes its way from the downstairs kitchen upstairs to the in-law apartment. And, and then that's where it goes to die until I film a wrap-up of that particular hunt. So, not where it goes to die. Where it goes to collect some dust before I get around to putting it in a display. I've been very bad about that, considering how much I actually love making displays. I don't know. I guess this is a good time to do it. Because last week I asked people in my video, I said, what do you guys want to see just on the quote-unquote off chance that I run out of footage with this pandemic? AKA I probably will. What do you want to see? A lot of people wanted to walk through the relic room and just see the old stuff I've dug and how I display things, how I clean things, all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably do a video on that, which requires me to, make it look not like trash up there first, so that it's kind of acceptably dirty, then show it cleaned up,
Right.
But yeah, so now's a good time to do all that fun stuff on a rainy day.
Now's a great time for all that. Perfect time for all that.
It's supposed to be a great time to get permissions, but unfortunately.
Right, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, well, womp womp.
This is my usual return time, so I'm usually handing back the displays, for some of these property owners, and I'm so I've talked to them all, and they're like, yeah, just hold on to it. We'll get it when all this dies down. I'm like, just want to see everyone.
Right.
But luckily, that still, that opens the conversation because I usually check with everyone again at the beginning of the following year. Is it okay to continue digging here? So thankfully, I have majority of their phone numbers and can talk. I mean, we all check up on one another anyway. I've gotten close to quite a few. So, at least I got the
That's
okay.
Awesome. Well, you know what's neat, Steph? I've been to Amanda's house, and she's got this big room when you first walk in, that she's got, I would call it a relic room. She's got this huge showcase with a bunch of finds in it. I wish I had that size of room, and I would go crazy.
Yes.
It would be my relic room / art room. And
that's right, because you have other hobbies. Unlike me, you have other hobbies. I really feel
I kind of put my art on the back burner since I've been, getting even more into, making my videos and stuff like that. But
sure, it takes a long time. People don't realize that. Not everyone realizes how long it takes to edit one video, which is It takes me like a day
Sure.
because I'm very anal like that.
Yeah, but they come out great.
Oh,
They really do.
thanks. I try to.
Some amazing
My goal is
videos.
just try to put something out that I'm proud of. Basically, it's like if I'm proud of it at the end of it, it's good. And then I obsessively look at views and stuff because I torture myself like that. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment sometimes. But but yeah, I'm usually pretty proud of the final product. And just this week I finally broke 1,500 subs, which is nice. It was a little new milestone. So on 2,000,
Congrats.
slowly but surely. Thanks. So it's getting there. And really, a lot of really just like really, really nice comments from people. I think I can count on one hand the number of negative comments that I've gotten. So really positive. I've been liking that form of social media quite a bit in comparison with some others. In fact, I'm like, if I could just like dump my Facebook someday, some days I feel like I would want to because there's a lot of negativity that gets, spewed out on Facebook. But I love Instagram and YouTube.
Right.
I think I'm spending more time there than I have on Facebook lately. Even someone else was like, "Wow, you've been quiet on here recently." I said, "Yeah, but it's because I'm seeing too many people talk about how they're door knocking for new permissions, and I can't really watch that anymore. And I don't want to get involved and sound like a jerk, which I will at some point." So it's just been kind of laying low on that. But yep. So
Well, tell us how you. You said you kind of, you started watching Aqua Chigger Bow on YouTube. What kind of made you decide, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel and share my passion?
I always thought of starting one, even just from the beginning, because that's what really helped me get into the hobby. Particularly, I would say 3 channels. I'd say Aqua Chigger, Todd Hiltz and Dave Weiss, both of their channels, but I kind of count them as one because they're hunting buddies, and then Stealth Digger. So, Aqua Chigger and then the woods videos are what really got me into it. And I said, you know what, like, I told myself, stop being intimidated by the technology. Because for some reason, when I was watching Bo's videos, especially, I was like, how am I ever going to learn a machine like this? And the AET Pro is one of the easiest machines you could have to learn. It's incredible, turn on and go, awesome machine. And so that's why I ended up eventually getting an Ace 400, and then I jumped to the Max. But I feel like I got off track there. But yeah, it made me fun. I just kind of have one of those like, hey, stop being a creep moments, because I was like, all right, it's time to buy my own. I've been watching YouTube videos for years now. I could tell you pretty much anything that's coming out of the ground before they even know what it is in the video. It's stupid to not just give it a shot. What do you have to lose? So that's that was kind of I think that was like maybe, I don't know, late 2016. But like I said, I didn't really get heavily into it until 2017. I found my first complete shoe buckle on like a half an hour outing or something, and it was really exciting. And then I started going like every few days after that, and it's never turned off. It's always been that way now. So if I don't go for a few days, I just start to get really, really antsy. It's a true addiction, as we all know. So that goes.
Well, I remember, I can even remember right before you started your channel, I remember you and I chatting, and I was saying, hey, you got in it, because you kept saying, I don't have quite enough footage. I want to get and it's good to have that kind of like with what we're going through right now, that have some of that footage to rely on from past times to go back on.
Yeah.
I remember you were heading in that direction. I was like, couldn't wait till you started your channel, because I was really excited to see what you were going to, what you'd been finding, because you're so far off from Texas. So,
yeah, it's a different world up here for sure.
For sure.
Going out and finding
Right.
like coppers from the 1700s is kind of, well, I mean, it's really exciting when you find them, because I don't, for some reason, I don't get my coil over them a whole lot, but a lot of people out here do. So it's, like Lou, for example, he'll go out and he'll find like 5 in a week or something, no problem. Like in Texas, that'd be like the find of the year, But I also remember too, which I want to say, Jocelyn and Drew especially were like operative and kind of encouraging me to just like, just pull the plug, start the YouTube, get it going. And I took a long time to finally get it up from when I first was talking to them about it. But, they were the same way. They're like, what do you have to lose? Just put yourself out there, just go ahead and do it. And they've been very supportive. So, and they know their stuff, obviously, because between the two of them and all the channels, I don't even know how many subscribers that is, well over 200,000. So, yeah. But,
well, that's awesome. It's good to have, a support system, and that's where all of us, can support each other, just within, even if you don't have a channel or anything like that, just to share your finds and share with others and share your passion.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was a fun outlet to do that because people comment, they're like, oh, we can feel your excitement when you get excited about something. Because I'm not an actor in any way, shape, or form. When you hear me get excited about something in a video, that's legit how excited I get when I find something.
Right.
Unfortunately, I don't think I've really found much when I've been with either of you digging, because I know at Pound the Ground I didn't find like really anything when it was super windy on Sunday. Gypsy, I remember when we were at the top of that
man.
field.
You and I were about to be blown away.
I know. I think I found like a bent up spoon. It was terrible. But it was something. The day before, it was something. And I was surprised. I was like, wow. with my massive snowshoe. Well, I think I had a nail thunder on my machine that day, which is totally inappropriate for corn stalks that are still up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, it's going to be fun because my stock coil was taken hostage because Nick decided to go back. I think she went back to the hotel for a little while, or she went back to the main, just like greeting area where we showed up for the day. And then you and I were like a couple of miles away, and I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. Can't get the proper equipment over here, so let's see what happens. But, yeah, that was fun. And then, Amanda, I think we went to that, I know we went to that button dump, and then we had Pound the Ground Light, well, the version of Pound the Ground Light, I guess, if you will, last April, which was fun. I don't think I found anything super exciting, but if you guys were ever with me when I did, you'd see me jumping up and down because it's all completely genuine. It doesn't take a lot,
Yeah, I think because then we also dug the Patriot dig, and there wasn't much there.
Oh God, it was 100 degrees by 11 o'clock. We all booked out of there, and then we were trying to find a permission on the way home. I remember.
Yep. And
you lost your credit card right where we were gonna where that big field. We were gonna knock on the door of one of the adjoining houses to see if they owned it. Like, oh, I lost my credit card there, but like, I don't know if that was a permission over the called you or what, but maybe it's a sign we need to go back there.
Yeah.
Because we sat there for a good 20 minutes debating, is it too hot or not? Getting like in and out of the car. Is it too hot? Yes. The answer is yes.
It was the one time in July that it was like 110, 116 degrees in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island.
I don't know. And you forced me to acclimate, too, because you turned off the AC on the way from the hotel to the dig. We have to acclimate. We got to acclimate. I said, like, I hate you right now. Why are you making me do this? Like, we got to acclimate. I'm like already sweating bullets by the time we get there, which I just love. Oh, God.
Well,
but it was fun. And then, and the heater the night before, hotel on fire. That was fun. We had the AC on, but really it started to heat the room up, and then it smelled. All of us, it was you, me, and Laura Schooley, and we were all awake smelling this, and nobody had the nerve to say anything until the next morning where we're like, did you all smell that last night? Is anyone else worried we're going to light the hotel on fire? So that was a fun weekend, though. That's the kind of stuff that is like, it makes the hobby fun. Like, you go through that kind of weird experiences with your friends, and it kind of makes it worth it. Because stuff like that is what sticks out in my mind. It's just, that was hysterical.
Yeah, I think I got banned from choosing hotels in the future because of that.
You absolutely did. Not that I have a say in that because I was mad on it at the last minute, but I would say definitely no. Not in charge anymore. We'll just pay the extra and stay at a Holiday, or where do we usually stay at the Penguin Dig? I'm trying to think. Hampton Inn.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know
Hampton Inn, Fairfield Inn Suites, just,
I don't think there were any other hotels in that area.
I think that's what it was, because it was kind of in the middle of nowhere, sort of. Not middle of nowhere, but definitely not a tourist attraction by any stretch of the imagination, whatever town we were in. And so I think that was the only one that was anywhere close. Because I remember there was a good reason, and that was probably it, I would imagine.
Oh, boy.
Well,
I got to get y'all to Texas to stand the summer heat sometime. I can't even imagine
I would die.
And the humidity and the 100-degree weather here.
Oh,
my gosh.
No, thanks. I can usually do, like, dry and hot, but humid and hot is just so hard for me. Like, my family and I go to New Orleans maybe once a year or once every other year, and it's just, if we go at the wrong time of year, you can drink the air. I mean, you know what it's like down in South where you are. You can drink the air. It's like too much for me, and I can't breathe. So I can't imagine digging in that environment all day, but I guess you kind of acclimate to it, like I had to do with the Patriot Pig. It was 110 degrees.
That's why I hunt the rivers and the lakes and all that in the summertime to beat the heat.
Oh man. Yeah. Yep.
So I'm sure Amanda has a few questions that she would like to throw in for you.
Yeah, I know last year you had a pretty epic year of bucket listers. So, pretending that nothing is going on right now, what is your bucket lister find for 2020?
Well, I already got it the other day, actually, which was a complete colonial buckle. That's all I wanted. Believe it or not, in 3 years of digging, I hadn't found a complete buckle, which is kind of ridiculous given where I live. It's not, it's not impossible to find, a shoe buckle or a knee buckle that's complete. It really should not be that difficult. So it was more of a white whale. Out here, that's more of a white whale than like a bucket lister. So I finally got that, which is probably about a mid-1700s knee buckle. It's like shaped like a shoe buckle, but because of the size, we're calling it a knee buckle. I went ahead and confused a couple of groups on Facebook and started a nice debate between people as to whether or not it was a knee or a shoe buckle. That was fun. But for bucket lister for 2020, I usually do have an annual bucket list. I reached most of those last year. With the one rollover that I haven't gotten yet, which is a capped bust, anything, any variety, any denomination, doesn't matter. I'd like to find a capped bust coin. And those are very, very tough. I don't see them come up too often. And I'm friends with like 1,700 people on Facebook, and I'm in about like 50 groups, something like that. And I still only see, out of all of those people, and a lot of these groups are based in the Northeast, one every 2 to 3 weeks, something like that, right, Amanda? I don't think it's more than that. Capped bust. I don't see it too often. So, and that's with thousands of people in all the dozens of groups that we're in. So I would really like to find one. I think it's a beautiful design. Seated Liberty hat would be amazing. It's tough to find just that time period in Connecticut, though. Usually you're finding older stuff than that. But, there's certainly been activity here for 300 years, so you can find them, and it's difficult. But, definitely for 2020, I'd say capped bust anything. More reals, because I can't get enough of those. I think I dug about 5 of them last year or something, which was awesome. So now I'll probably get skunked on the real end for quite some time. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. But definitely capped bust. I'm going to be flipping out when I find one of those, which I will, because that's one of those things that I know I'll find out here eventually. Just because of the time period, and then a lot of people out here eventually find them, I would say. So anyway, I digress, but that's my bucket lister for 2020.
Fantastic.
So hopefully I can get it. Hopefully I can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great.
Yeah. Yep. Lou says, what's a day without social distancing? Yeah. With any luck, Lou and I are going to hopefully hit an old permission this weekend. We'll see what happens. And he's like, all right, I'll follow social distancing rules right after I give you a bear hug. And of course, he's kidding. kind of, sort of. So I said, no, you got to stay away from me because I still see my parents a couple of times a week. They don't live very far away. So I'm like, you got to be careful. And he said, we're finding a real next time we dig together. I'm just reading in the chat. Yeah, we are. Because actually where we might be going this weekend, if we have any luck, is the last place I found a real, I believe. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Fingers crossed. Social distancing digging is not a bad thing, as long as you're setting a good example, which will be interesting too, because if we do get to go out this weekend, you know, obviously I'm kind of going to highlight the fact that we're staying so far away from each other so that it's setting a good example, you know, because as someone who tries to be a good ambassador of the hobby, I'm trying to set a good example right now, which means, you know, no door knocking, no getting close to your friends, anything like that. Because we don't want to spread the virus if we don't have to, obviously. So yeah, that should be an interesting video. Also, probably a little bit less work for me because I'm not going to be able to run up to people, you know, it's him, and I don't know if our friend Doug is going or not, but it'll be interesting because I won't have to go up to them every 5 or 10 minutes when they get something good because I won't be able to get that close to see it. So it's like the best I'll be able to do is a wrap-up at the end. So I should get a lot more digging in, which should be interesting.
Will they tape themselves and then you can compile it, or?
They could. They certainly could. And in fact, Lou, it makes it easier because he has an iPhone, so it's easier for him to drop a nice quality video to me. But when Doug, if he's going with us, which I would think he is because it's all of our permission, I don't know. Maybe Lou will answer me in the chat because he's still talking about how he's going to make sure he has terrible gas next weekend so that I can smell it from far away. Thanks, Lou. That just totally made me lose my train of thought. What was I saying? Help me out. Oh, help me. No, for real. I forgot what I was saying. I completely got into
Doug's quality of video.
Oh, yes, because he has an Android phone, so it's really difficult for some reason to send an Android video to an iPhone. He's tried to email it to me before, and like sometimes he can send it in Messenger, but it comes in really pixelated, like I don't know, like 360p or something. So like I've added it into my videos before when I absolutely need to, like when Lou dug his colonial gold ring. The footage was really poor quality. You know, not for Doug. If Doug were to upload the footage, it would have been fine, but because he sent it to me, it downgrades it. And I was like, you know, I have to make a decision, either put in really low-grade footage of the recovery or not put the recovery in at all. And I thought it was more important to put the recovery in there, which I think at the end of the day was a really good decision. So it's better to have it there than not. But, yep. That was a fun day.
Well, I'm going to change the subject here a little. So, Steph, one question that we ask a lot, usually Amanda's the one that asks us, but I'll go ahead and ask it tonight. So, if you could hunt anywhere in the world, no rules, no, you know, the law would allow you, where would you hunt? Where would you detect?
I would say Mount Vernon. If I could get away with it, that'd be very cool. I've said that before at a recent podcast, actually, and I guess I was the first one. I think it was the XP one, and I was like the first one to have said that, which is interesting. You'd think more people would say that, but any place with a crazy amount of reservoir activity, too, would be amazing, because that's, like, my favorite thing to dig. Not like I dig it very often, although Lou and I and friends, because we had a few other people out there eventually, dug a reservoir prison last year, and it was like the coolest experience that I've ever had detecting easily. We found so much, a lot of evidence that, you know, what was said on what was put on the plaques outside of this house was exactly true. This is where Burgoyne's army was imprisoned after their loss at Saratoga. So it's like the stuff that you find there that's British, saw action in the Battle of Saratoga, which is just crazy because it's a huge turning point in the war. So, and the thing is with Lou, he found a 9th Regiment British button, and the 9th Regiment is, part of the army that was up in Saratoga. So for certain it was Burgoyne's army that was there. So it just gives you chills. It's amazing. And I found a British neck stock buckle there, which I haven't seen a ton of them dug. My friend Doug found one as well. We both found female halves. We couldn't find the male halves of them anywhere, which was kind of weird. But shoe buckles all over the place, colonial coppers, anything you could possibly imagine. A counterfeit 8 real. Of course, that was Lou. So it was crazy. By the end of it, by like 6 hunts or something, I want to say we cleared it out pretty well. We really wanted to go back with smaller coils this year, but there's new property owners, and they weren't quite as interested in having people on the property, I guess. So it is what it is. But, we did a really good job of cleaning it out. It was absolutely virgin. There's no doubt about it. And it's crazy that it was virgin. And it was just that easy to get permission. Wow. We're just, he's saying 40 toppers or so total. I think it was around that. About half of those were his, but that's, he has really good luck with coppers. I think he's got more copper in his blood. But anyway, yeah.
I like the way he says coppers.
Yeah, everyone's starting to say it that way online now. I'm like, oh, there we go. We're going to start another generation of people who misspell everything. Thanks, Lou.
Right?
He's got like 20 or 30 for the year right now.
His way of spelling it is correct. Kappa.
Yeah. Like, I've got a quote-unquote normal, like, I'm keeping up kind of with, if I can keep up somewhat close to Dave Wise, I feel okay about myself. And he's got one more than I do right now. He's got like 8. I've got 7. Lou's got like 25 or something at least. So he's trying to break Dave Wise's record, which was like 93 or something, I think. Oh, is this bad influence or inspirational? Fine. Inspirational, Lou. Your language is inspirational. This chat is fun. Now that I was able to log in this time. But it does keep getting me off track. I apologize. Anyway. So, yeah, after like 6 visits, we cleared out that place pretty well. And we were all very happy with what we were able to save, for sure. There's real history behind that. We never really lost sight of what we were doing there either. We'd have fun, we'd have laughs and stuff, but, it was a really humbling place to be. It was a really pleasant place to be. The homeowners were awesome. And they didn't mind us going there like 6 weekends in a row. So that's what we did.
Oh, wow.
So we got so spoiled last year that this year I'm like, oh, this is such a slow year. It's like, no, Steph, this is a regular year. Last year, that's like 1 in a million. That might not happen again for a while. It's not every day that you trip across a virgin Revolutionary War encampment in prison. Like, what the heck? That's crazy.
Right.
So
pretty epic.
I try to remember that I was spoiled. Yeah.
Now, Steph, majority of those finds and those digs, you have videos out on YouTube with you guys digging there, right?
Yeah, I do. I even have a specific playlist for that because I thought it was that important. I think it's Revolutionary War prison site hunts. Awesome. And that's the only playlist I have on my my YouTube. So if anyone wants to binge those, those are crazy. It's just literally find after find after find after find. And I had to be in a really fast-paced format for those videos because we were finding so much. I didn't want the videos to be like an hour long. So those are crazy to watch. I go back and watch those, and it just makes me sick because it's like, oh God, when am I going to find a site like that again? When am I going to be on a site like that again? Although the place we're going this weekend was, I would say, and Lou will probably confirm this in the chat, I think that's the second best place that we hit last year, Lou. It is this house we're going to this weekend because we found some amazing stuff out there. And probably, I would say, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20 coppers between a few of us, something like that. And, he found a couple of complete shoe buckles, I think, tons of buttons, of course. I found a Real. I found a Nova Eboric copper, which is exceedingly rare. I couldn't believe I found that. Naturally, it has to be my ugliest possible copper that's identifiable, but that's okay. That was a really amazing find. So we found a ton of good stuff there, so I'm excited to go back. But yeah, that was probably the second best place.
How many kettle points did you find? Was it
I found
last year?
Two. Nope, one. I got one in 2018, which was at a. It was in a known Native American village, and I know the owners of this 300 acres. I won't name the name of the village because people are going to know what it is and flock there. And I think some people definitely have already hunted there without permission because, the cellar hole that was even closest to the house barely had anything left to give up. So that was a little concerning. Property owners didn't really want to hear that it's been hunted before, but it has. But anyway, so because I truly dig everything. If it's repeatable and it's not blatantly like a small piece of iron, I always dig it. And thank God I did, because I had my max out at the time, and I remember it was a 56 signal, which is a weird signal out here that's just a few points higher than like a 12-gauge shotgun shell. And so while that's a normal find in the woods, getting a 56 number is just weird, because there's nothing that really equates to like a 56, at least out here. I don't know what your soil, I say this because I don't know what your soil in Texas does to your machine, but 56 is a
56
number.
On what? Which detector were you using?
The max. So,
the max.
And I had
the
with the thunder coil on there, so that also throws things off just a little bit. But they sound around the shotgun shell range, so they will always be a massive surprise. And it was a bird point; it wasn't a war point or anything like that. But when I dug it, the funny thing is, because of where we were going, even though they're very difficult to find, I kind of expected to find one that day. And then I actually did.
Huh.
And Nick was off in Never Never Land. She was like, I don't know, half a mile or a mile away from me. And I sent her a picture. I'm like, I think I did it. So I think I did it. And I posted it online. There was a lot of debate about it, because it's just a tiny little triangle that doesn't have a hole in it, but some of them don't, which some people don't know. And then my friend Danny LaMontagne looked at it in person. He dug about 30 of them or something for the Pequot Museum. And, he took one look at it, held it for a second. He said, oh, yeah, it's a kettle point. So that was exciting. And then I found last May in 2019, not far from where I live, total surprise. I'd been digging up shotgun shells all day. I was using the Equinox this time. Shotgun shells ring up between like 15, 16, 17 on the Equinox. And this is another 17 signal, 8 inches down. I said, what the hell else am I doing? I'll dig it, obviously. And outflow, when you haven't plugged something quite right, so you're just kind of like shoveling dirt out of the hole with your hands. That's kind of what happened. And it just flew out of the hole, and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow.
And it sounds kind of weird to say, but about my own find, but it's one of the most beautiful ones I've ever seen, which is, I'm so lucky to have that, because I love kettle points. I think the history behind those it's just amazing. So yeah, I was stoked to find that. And afterwards I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think there was that much activity back where I live at that time, but our town was incorporated in 1708, and there was definitely activity here confirmed back to 1675, and maybe even a little earlier. So it does make sense, but it wasn't something I was expecting to find near my house. A Native American village on the shoreline, yeah, but not up here. So very fortunate to have found two. Even when you live in the Northeast and dig for years, they are hard to come by. And it's only people that dig everything that are rewarded with finding them. Because if you dig 20 or 30 shotgun shells in a day, which you will in the woods of Connecticut, you kind of get sick of it at the end of the day. And, it had to be done, though. So, that's exciting.
Sounds like Maine, too.
Yep.
So would you consider that one of your most epic finds, or do you have a favorite epic find that you remember that really stands out?
Well, I think we all know what that is, because I keep talking about it on like every podcast. I still haven't gotten over the ridiculous story. So I'll say it here just in case anyone hasn't heard. But yeah, the kettle points are up there, because trade items like that, it's the very beginning of America. It doesn't get any cooler than that to me. But yeah, I got to go with the Real still. That's still my favorite find, because of how kind of stupid I was when I found it. Because I started for multiple reasons. Because the whole spill is just epic. Like, how often do you find a Real spill? I've only seen a few others. Actually had the fortune of finding more than one Real in the hole, and I found 3. But it took a few days. Yeah, Lou was saying double check Stef in the chat. That's what he named me. This is how we first started talking online, because he saw this whole story, and then he named me Double Check Stef, and then we started getting together, and the rest is history. But anyway, so so it was the very end of the day, March. Sun was going down. It was a little after 5 o'clock. I had taken a break, just have some water, and I remember I texted Nick, and I was getting so frustrated. It was the first day we had a good thaw, because we had not a lot of snow last winter, so the ground was frozen for a really long time because we had a cold snap of like degrees, and Amanda will remember this, like in the teens for weeks, and the ground was just concrete. So anyway, it was terrible. So this is the first thaw, and I remember taking a break, texting Nick saying, I have got to find something. It's ridiculous. I've been digging shotgun shells and bullets all day. I found absolutely nothing. And then I took, like 3 or 4 steps or something and got a 29 signal on the Equinox, which is a clad quarter signal. And that's also a 2 real signal, because that's what it was. So, I dug that. I had like my nastiest, my big ugly cry coming out, because I wanted big Spanish so bad. It was at the very top of my bucket list, like even more than really old U.S. silver, like draped bust, flowing hair. Like I still wanted a big Spanish more than anything, which sounds crazy, but I really did. So I was so excited about that. Posted a video of the recovery online, posted a couple photos. And then I remember Howard Hewitt had commented on my post, and he said, did you recheck the hole? Well, did you? Like 2 comments in a row like that. And then it occurred to me that I probably hadn't, because I was so excited, and then the sun was going down, and I had to hike out of the woods. So I went back 10 days later, and sure as anything, I got a 22 signal, half real practically on the surface. Swung it again to not make the same mistake, and another 22 signal, another half real in the hole. But what's so weird is that there were no coppers in there. It was just Spanish silver. It is a weird pocket still, and it wasn't a cache, because I went back like 2 days after that, and I dug pretty much a trench, like a 2 by 4 foot trench where I had found them, just to make sure that I didn't miss any more, so I could get down there really low with the detector, and under that was just super deep iron. So I'm pretty confident I got them all now. I still go back and swing over it every so often, because the reason I remembered where the 2 real was is because I had taken that recovery video. But after that, turn the camera off, turn it back on, and then so that Nicola and I could go back to this area, because it's not far from where we live. I was describing the area, and I was panning around, showing all the scenery, and then down to where my plug was. So rather than pinning it, I just chose to take a video. And I'm really glad I did, because that led me to go back there, because I'm like, we have to hammer this area immediately, before somebody else comes back here. And so that was very exciting. That's still the most exciting one. And, when I found the half reals, I was like, I had very mixed feelings at that moment, because I'm like, that was really stupid to forget to recheck your hole, especially when it's something awesome like that. And you kind of have to tell the detecting community what you did, because this is your best find ever. And if you want to share it, you need to tell everyone what you did. So I did. And, I'm hoping more people check their holes a little bit more thoroughly now. I certainly do.
We've all done stuff like that before. Believe me.
Yep.
Well, we did have.
No, I'm sure there's plenty of them.
We did have a question in chat from Bill, Ohio Relic Hunter. He wanted to know if you do any magnet fishing or water detecting.
I don't do any water detecting yet. I know myself. I will probably kill myself if I try to water detect in some rivers around here, because it's very rocky and slippery, but I might give it a try at some point. And magnet fishing, I actually do have a magnet, but the only one who's used it is Lou, because I remember one day after we were hunting the Reservoir Prison or something around town where he lives, he said, I want to use it in my well, because his house was built in 1824 and he's done amazing stuff on his property. So while I was shooting a wrap-up of our hunt that day, he went with his girls, and they were checking the well. I don't think they found anything but like a big rusty nail or something, if that. But I've been meaning to take that out, because what I'm going to start doing, especially if I'm running low on footage during this pandemic, when I'm really determined to keep the YouTube strong and keep putting videos out every week, I'll probably do, video on some magnet fishing and sifting cellar holes, especially, because I think that's an area a lot of us skip, because that can be a lot of work. If you're going to hike into the woods over a mile with a big, fat, like 50-pound sifter, it's kind of a commitment. And I don't think a lot of people do that. So I think that would be a really interesting video. That and some magnet fishing, maybe arrowhead hunting. And if we get around to water hunting, awesome. So we'll see what happens there. But definitely magnet fishing, I'm going to give a shot this year. So I'm curious.
I'd love to see you doing some sifting of the cellar holes. I mean, the glass pieces that you find, even digging around them, are usually fantastic. And I know I'm a huge fan of the featherware, so it'll be really fun to see how you do and the things that you find that are non-metallic.
Yeah, I've had luck doing that with just without a sifter, because I remember one time I was at this hole, it's probably spit out 20 or 30 buttons at this point. I found a ring there, a skeleton key, some clay pipes, and a lot of that was actually just digging a trench on the side of the hole because I was getting so many overload signals and I was using inappropriate equipment. I was using my massive coil, again, which is not what you want to use on the lip of a cellar hole for obvious reasons, but I just started out, so I thought bigger coil, the better, which it's not for a cellar hole. So I got frustrated and I just, I dug maybe like a 2x2 foot little trench, maybe a foot down, and I found really cool stuff that way. I found like the Pitkin glass shards that I was talking about in this last week's video. Those are pretty valuable. Those are like 1780s to 1830s. So even the shards alone are valuable, evidently, which I didn't know. But the complete whiskey flasks go for a lot at auction. So this family had money, and I already knew they had money. I know a little bit about them. And, I found clay pipes that way. I found something I wouldn't have normally dug, which was a really nice 18th century hammer that I had restored. My friend sandblasted it and painted it for me, and it looks really cool. And it's not something you normally dig because it's deep iron. So, that was a lot of fun, and it really made me think I have got to, I really got to get to sifting a lot of these holes because you're going to find bone and glass buttons that way. You'll find more clay pipes. The areas I hunt clay marbles, I don't know if that was much of a thing yet because the cellar holes that I intend to take this to are like late 1700s at the very latest, and then back to like late 1600s. So, but there's a lot of cool wares in there and stuff. And actually, when I was out yesterday, I got some funky, choppy signal, really, really deep. I don't even remember what it ended up being. I think it was just like a kitchen knife or something, like colonial, but it was just a knife or something I didn't post. And there was a really nice brick in the hole with it, really primitive looking brick. And it was also confirming my theory that particular homestead, they had some bank, because Nicola found a silver cufflink out there. We found a few really nice pieces right in that area, which led me to believe that this family was, their socioeconomic class is a little higher than average. So that, kind of helped to confirm it, because brick was very expensive in the 18th century, and this home was abandoned probably like mid-1700s, somewhere in there. I'm not finding anything later than that. So, that was pretty cool. I decided to bring it home for ha-has. It's going to go in the display case. So I keep all my shards. I found a piece of a key cup and something yesterday too. But yeah, I keep it all. I'm still not sure what to do with it because I'm running out of space, but I'll figure something out. So I can't bring myself to leave it there. I feel guilty.
I definitely agree with Amanda there. I would definitely take some little sifting tools out there and try sifting some of those cellar holes, and it would make great video because there's not that many people that sift some of those. So I would love to see what you find.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's definitely what I'm going to try soon. We just need to have a period where it's dry enough, because right now if you're getting rain every few days like we are,
yeah, we are,
it just kind of puts it off. Yeah, so it basically, I have to wait until probably a little bit later in the season, but I'm looking in the chat now, and David says, breathe. I talk a lot. It's okay, guys. I'm normally like this. I'm not even that caffeinated right now. Last time I had coffee was like 11 this morning, so this is just me.
She's just excited. Believe it or not, I just had some coffee. Hmm.
I thought about having some before the show, but I didn't.
We do have another question for you, Steph. So,
Yes.
Mike Fuson wants to know if you had to dress up as a superhero to metal detect, who would it be?
What? Screw it. Quail Man. How's that?
Yeah.
Say it again.
That's just a Quail Man. It's a playoff. If anyone watched like old, you have to be like exactly in my age range. Amanda, you should remember this because you're like my age. You have to be exactly in my age range to remember Doug from Nickelodeon.
Yep.
No, nobody. Gosh.
No, I remember.
You do remember?
I don't know. Yeah, I remember Doug.
I can't think of something. You know, I don't want to be Wonder Woman. That suit wouldn't fit me properly, and I can't think of being some big muscly superhero. I don't know. I'm going to come up with something awesome as soon as we get off the phone, too. That's what's going to happen. But for now, I'll go with Quail Man because it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know.
I love it.
Actually, you know what I've always wanted to do at a rally is get one of those like inflatable T-Rex costumes and just go around like that for the day because it'll just crack everybody up. And I'll get some, and then not like I don't love saying hi to people because I really do. That's why I go to the rallies, and obviously I talk my brains off, so I don't think I would really do this. But if I wanted to just dig and not chat for the entire day, because that's what I end up doing at all these, all I would have to do is just go incognito in a T-Rex suit. But now I've given out my secret, so I guess that doesn't really.
You'd have those really short arms. I would like to see you trying to do it with those really short arms.
I'd have to somehow cut a hole in the side, but then it wouldn't be very inflatable, so I have no clue how it would work out. But I really want to do that now.
No, you could do it. I have a T-Rex that inflates, and technically it's got the space for you to do the shorter hands, but you could actually put your arms all the way out and have it like come up to your elbows.
That would make some hilarious video. And Amanda,
oh my
I didn't
God.
know you had
Especially if I'm running over someone with a fine, you know how like it looks like the head just snaps back because you're walking at break. If you run at breakneck speed in one of those costumes, oh man, those inflatable costumes like just crack me up every time I see them. And I think at the Penguin Dig a couple of years in a row, people had inflatable costumes, and they just cracked me up. They just get me. I don't know. They just hit me. They just totally hit my funny bone. They always just destroy me. So, yeah. Oh man. But yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, Amanda, I had no idea you had that. I love it. It's freaking hilarious. Oh. I have an artist friend that has one, and she's done some funny videos, and I could just totally see you, Amanda.
Well, I mean, the one I need to get is me actually chasing our chickens with it.
Oh my God.
Yes. That sounds like a lot of fun. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to amuse you when you're in quarantine, though. That is
right.
I feel like I need to buy one of those now, but I don't think I can because I think isn't Amazon down to like only essential things you can buy on Amazon. I don't know what the heck they consider essential versus non-essential. I personally think an inflatable T-Rex costume is essential to keep me occupied.
Right.
But they might not feel the same now, I don't know.
Oh, I could totally get into a totally another subject, but I'm going to refrain. But I did order from Amazon this last week because it was in the city. I ordered some M&M peanuts. Anyway, that's for the conversation later.
I can't even understand you. You're hissing and laughing too much. I can't understand what you said. What did you get?
I said I ordered some M&M peanuts. It was a necessity this week.
Well, yeah, that's understandable. We're all going to come out of this fatter than we went in. It's okay. No one can judge us. The men are going to be fat, too. Right? Anyway, but yeah. Fun is.
So I'm sure Amanda, you got any more questions for?
No, you pretty much covered the bases with, you were talking about some of the other things you're going to be doing, staying busy with the hobby, even though in our current situation, so some other things you're going to be doing. I think
Yeah,
that's,
it's tough to put out footage every week right now. I think it's going to be tough. Gypsy, I don't know what your backlog is like, but I've got probably about 3 weeks, and then I'm going to be SOL. So I'm trying to get out in the meantime and make I'm going to have to do some compilation videos because, like I said, I'm going out in the woods that's pretty hammered. So I have to go like 2 or 3 times in 1 week to get enough footage for a 15-minute video or whatever, which is kind of crazy, but. You don't always have those days where you go out and get enough cohesive footage in one hunt to make a hunt video of that one day. So sometimes you have to do the composites, and I've had decent luck with that. People seem to like them anyway, so that's what I'll continue to do.
Yeah.
Just it's more quote unquote work, but it's really still fun. So
yeah,
I'll keep it going one way or another.
I think you'll do it. You'll make it. I have some video footage from last year that I didn't even post, and some of it is because the finds were okay, but not that great. So I might just put a couple compilation that smash some different favorite videos together.
Yeah, I have stuff from last year too, and in fact, Nicola found a complete shoe buckle. Spoiler, but she's been bugging me to put that out since I started my YouTube channel because that was actually filmed before my first Rev War prison hunt, which was with Lou, and that was my first video. So this is going way back to like early last May, but I still haven't put that footage out. I think she's going to hit me in the head with a shovel if I don't put it out soon. So yeah. But I have a lot of random finds that I found like one thing that day, or I only had an hour to go out, and I didn't really find much or whatever. But if I put everything together, it'll look nice. So I've got 1 to 2 videos worth of that. I went through all of my footage a couple of weeks ago just in prep for potentially running out in the meantime, and I marked down the date that the video was filmed on my phone with what the find was, so that hopefully I can make a couple videos out of that, and I know what I actually have in the bank right now. So I'm making do, but yeah, we'll all get through it. Hopefully things go back to normal, and
we'll make it.
We'll make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. If the weather was decent, I was going to get out in the backyard again. That's what I did last week, is videoed a video and metal detectors I have. But I was thinking, and I like what you said earlier about when you were hunting a cellar hole and then you had the huge coil on there. I'm going to do one hopefully tomorrow if weather is good. I'm going to make a video just about different coils, what coils to use for different situations. So I know a lot of people don't understand, why and stuff like that. So I'm going to try that.
Yeah, that's important too, because it's really the right tool for the job. I have 3 machines, but they've each served different purposes for me. I'm liking the Simplex a lot, but there might be times where because I have the small coil for the AT Max, then I might want to go out with that in a trashier area because I'm used to that VDI a little bit more. And Garrett's probably got the most accurate VDI in the industry as far as I'm concerned. So if I'm hunting a really trashy site, I might want that as opposed to my Equinox or the Simplex that I'm still learning a little bit. The Nox has served me well too, but there are things I like about it, there are things I don't. And then Simplex I'm trying to find faults with. I haven't really found many so far. But I'm trying to be constructive, so I need to give it a little more time to give some good solid feedback on it. But yeah, it's definitely coils are a powerful tool if used properly. Especially if you're going to a trashy site or or just an iron infested site of some kind, or if you're water hunting, especially. I'm sure you probably employ the small coil when you're water hunting because it's way later. That's one thing. But yeah, that's how I have my Max set up, and I'll probably never take that 5x8 off. I absolutely love it, so I still use that sometimes. And yeah. Yep, and I've been using like stock coils or small coils. I haven't really been using the big coils very much. Doug is in the chat now, and he'll totally disagree with me because he uses what we call the snowshoe on his CTX, which is an 11 by 17, which is outrageous.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. So
my arm would fall off after a while.
Sometimes he has a little trouble pinpointing things. Har har har. See there he says bigger is better in the chat. But I'm just giving him heck no. But we all have our preferences. So like that. I was hooked on the big coils for a while, and then I was like, oh wait, no, the small ones are where it's at. And who knows? I'll flip flop probably. Still only been at it a few years, so see what happens.
Right. Well, Amanda, can you think of any more questions we can ask her? Or?
No, I'm hoping that, once this dies down, I can get to Connecticut and you can come up to Maine and maybe we'll meet at an event, but until then.
I know, right? Are you guys going to go to Digstock? I don't know, Gypsy, if you know yet. Is Garrett going to go to Digstock? I think you guys are, right?
Yeah, I know we, are planning on it, but, so much is canceled and stuff.
I know. Well, it's October, so that's still tentatively
hopefully that's
happening.
ways out. Yeah, because Amanda and I had a little thing planned, and we're still kind of up in the air. I still have my flights. I haven't canceled them, and we're crossing our fingers.
You never know.
Yeah, we're hoping. Yeah.
I know, because it was sad, Pound on the Ground got canceled, the Garrett Memorial Hunt got canceled, so many hunts got canceled. Because this is really, this is rally season right now. It's like now and then fall, basically, are kind of the hot times for rallies, and it's like you just took away our spring.
I know. Fall spring is my favorite time to hunt, spring and fall.
Yeah, this is a good time, especially if you like the woods. Now is one of the best times to hit it because not everything is grown back yet. So up here, it's you can see all the terrain. You can see much further than you can a couple of months from now. So I've been trying to enjoy that, but really I'd like to be hitting my yards and fields at the moment because that's usually what I'd be doing this time of year. So
the ground is the best for it right now.
Yeah, it is. We're all just longing for it. Just driving by properties, I wish I could knock on your door, but I can't. So.
Yeah, this cabin fever driving me crazy. Crazy. And Amanda knows this, but Garrett had asked me right before all this happened about going to a rally in Italy. And I'm still bummed. So.
Oh. Yeah. Wow. Was that going to be your first time overseas with them? I don't remember if you've been to other rallies with them yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Overseas.
That'll happen. At least you're on the docket to go overseas. So, as long as other things don't get canceled. Now, is that when Amsterdam was going to be too, or is that a different hunt? I can't keep it straight. I know Jocelyn was talking about going to Amsterdam again, but I don't know when that's supposed to be.
Different one. I can't remember. There's a lot, and I think there might be something well. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, and then Spring Detectable, obviously, that went out the window. That's so sad. I know Digger Dawn is slowly coming unraveled, and as much as I really enjoy watching it though, because she cracks me up. They can't do anything in England right now. They can't even go on any of their permissions, nothing. So she's detecting her back garden and having gin and working from home and stuff. So she's coming unglued, and I would be too. Because at least we can still go out here. We're not at that level yet, but oh my god. She's been cracking me up lately. Oh, man. What are you going to do, though? If you can't laugh, you cry. So.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully all this will end soon and we can all get together at one of these hunts. So,
Yeah, I know.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah, because right now, me, Doug, and Lou are talking in the chat about looking forward to this weekend because we're going to social distance dig, like I was mentioning. I said before I wasn't sure if Doug was going, but he absolutely is. So that'll be fun. I can't wait. I haven't seen anybody but Nicola or my parents in like 3 or 4 weeks or whatever the heck it's been now. It's crazy. So much as I love them all, it'd be really nice to get out and hang out with my digging buddies. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you. It's always a good time out there. Someone always finds something amazing, and it's usually all of us at once. And even if it's just one of us, heck, it's, still worth going. So it's a fun time. We always have a blast.
That's amazing.
So we'll be good.
Well, that's great. Well, do we have any questions for Stef in the chat before we close? Anybody?
Anybody?
Well, it's been great having you on, Stef. It's been a long time, and thank you so much for jumping in there kind of last minute for us. We appreciate it.
Anytime, obviously. I love to chat about detecting. So it's a good time to talk to friends, too, because, you can't really get out and see a whole lot of them right now. Not easily anyway. So it's great to stay in touch with all of my digging friends and talk about what everyone else is doing right now to get us through the tough time. So.
Right. So true.
Doug, Lou wants to know how many shots I've had before the show. I haven't had any, Lou. Knock it off. It's because I sound discombobulated today. At least I feel like I do. But that's what happens when you don't talk to anyone for a while. They make this. I saw this oatmeal. I don't know if you guys follow the oatmeal, the comic strip. It's like hilarious. But I remember the one about working from home.
Yes.
Where it's like month 1, month 2, month 3, and by like month 3, you're in your pajamas talking gibberish to like no one.
Yep.
That's what I feel like right now. Lou still doesn't believe me. Oh well, whatever, Lou. Whatever. Oh man, but yeah, it's always a good time talking to you guys. I'll come back anytime for sure.
Well, we'd love to have you. We need to have Lou on again as well, and we've got a bunch of you two in chat that we need to have y'all on as guests. That I don't think we've ever even had on, so it would be fun to chat with some of our.
Yeah.
They're usually just, following along in the chat if we can get them on here.
You guys could do too is the Zoom meetings or something just for fun. Just get a bunch of people together that you like and do a Zoom chat. I did that the first time the other day when I was on Metal Detecting Nation. That was a lot of fun because we have like an after party and, there'd be like 9, 10, 11, 12 people just hanging out there. Some people are talking, some people are just listening, but it was a lot of fun. I ended up being on there until like midnight or something, which that's what seems to happen to me.
That sounds like when we had the after party chat. I think we talked more then than we did during the actual chat online. But just a reminder, those of you that weren't here in the beginning, that I will be on Zoom in the morning as a guest for my mind just went blank, Coffee with Kelly Co. So y'all be sure and go to Facebook in the morning at it'll be 8:30 my time, 9:30 Eastern. So if y'all do get a chance, join me in the morning. If you miss it, I'm sure you can catch the replay. Any announcements for you, Stef, or Amanda? Anything?
I got nothing.
Not for me. I don't have any news about digging rallies or anything I'm going to. I got nothing. I got nothing except my videos come out on Fridays around noon. That's all I got for you.
Well,
oh gosh.
We'll go ahead and close it in there. And you all be sure and check out Stef's YouTube channel. Go ahead and tell him again. It's Stef Finds.
Stef Diggs.
Stef Diggs. Why did I get Stef Finds? Stef Diggs. Y'all be sure.
I can't tell you.
And I think Amanda's put it in the chat several times tonight. A link. Y'all be sure and scroll down.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Watch some of her videos. They're amazing. Check out some of her finds. Be sure and follow her on Instagram and Facebook as well, correct?
Yep, and Instagram is Stef Diggs 24/7. I wish. That's wishful thinking. And then, obviously, Facebook is just my name, Stef Tanguay, but people can find it.
Well, thank you all. You all have a wonderful evening.
Hey, you too.
Good night, all.
Thanks again.
Good
night.